Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
For the first time since providing a testimony before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commented on the testimony in Parliament today.
It is Parliament which controls public finance. Therefore, I believe it is my duty to inform the House on the clarifications made by me before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry upon request made by the Commissioners. I had to provide details of certain facts which were never exposed at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. One is the financial status of the country when we took over the government. At this moment, I wish to table the report from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, which relates to the bond issuances from 2008 to 2014. During this period, treasury bonds to the value of 5,157 billion rupees was issued. Of the total value, treasury bonds to the value of 4,702 billion have been issued through private direct placements. The practice of issuing bonds to selected primary dealers at preferred yield rates without any transparency and without monetary board approval was carried out for years. This led to many malpractices. This is similar to the pyramid scam that was in effect until 2015 when we took over the government. This is in fact by far the largest pyramid scam. We will continue Vision 2025 in order to repay the debt with interest that had been obtained, while we also take steps to strengthen the economy. The red burden falls directly on the general public. After the proceedings of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry conclude, we hope to launch an investigation into the large scam that had taken place from 2008 to 2014. In addition, we will draw the attention of the Public Finance Committee to investigate the debt obtained without informing Parliament and the bonds issued without parliamentary approval. We also hope to look into the fraud that had taken place in the stock market during the same period. The government will completely support the activities of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Government ministers, myself included, testified before the Commission. This is the first time in the history of the country an investigation has taken place in such a manner. There were no such investigations before. If such an investigation was led during the Rajapaksa administration, those involved in the inquiry would have met the same fate as Lasantha Wickrematunge. We introduced a system with transparency. The President and I are committed to create a new political culture in the country. This is a novel experience for Sri Lanka. This process is complex. Some people would never understand it. Because of the novelty of the process, there are shortcomings and mistakes which can take place. We will rectify them. However, we are not prepared to cast aside the shortcomings as done during the Rajapaksa era and crush the rule of law. We are not prepared to bury social justice.
I intently watched Ranil Wickremesinghe make his speech in Parliament. It was indeed a swashbuckling speech of a man who had an image of Mr. Cream, but who has disfigured himself badly by his recent acts. In the first place, he took upon himself to tender an explanation, but it was not an explanation that came from his heart. It was an explanation that was written out to him, or written by him and read out. Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke on all kinds of things in other words, to disturb the defences in a conflicting way so that people couldn't comprehend. But the bottom line is the most important thing from public mind. Where is the money? Can it be recovered? He did not get to the relevant point as far as public are concerned. This is public funds, this is poor man's fund, this is people's funds. Money will be unrecoverable. And what does Ranil Wickremesinghe do? He throws a ball into Mahinda Rajapaksa's court and says, now look at Ranil, look at Lasantha Wickremesinghe. If he stood up at time like I stood up, he substitutes himself for Lasantha, what would have happened? Now, if Lasantha Wickrematunge's inquiry has now gone for 2 years during this government's period, so has Tajuddin, so has several others, the prison killers. Now, none of those reports, none of the findings are made public. Nobody is charged. It's dragging on and he takes credit. How can he take credit? He should be ashamed of himself if they have not been able to bring an offender in the death of Lasantha Wickrematunge and Tajuddin. If they can't find them, be honest, be sincere and say that they can't do it. No, they keep on dragging and trying to spoil the name of Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now, Mahinda Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, mind you, have been in office for nearly 50 years. Ranil Wickremesinghe entered politics in 77 and Mahinda Rajapaksa in 70. They have been holding power for 25 years and they are able to survive on each other. If one is removed, the other will have no place. So that is why they play a game of keeping both together and they work in harmony, so that if you notice, after Ranil Wickremesinghe, who comes in? Mahinda Rajapaksa, and after Mahinda Rajapaksa, once again Ranil Wickremesinghe, and the UNP has a way out, I'll tell you that. And the way out is simply they should hand the power over to the government, because elections can't be held. They should hand the power over to Mahinda Rajapaksa and watch how he bungles up 2 years. He will never do that. Why? I'll give you the answer. Because of the bond scam. He's worried that he would be found guilty of it.